The Matric exam cheating scandal has rocked Mpumalanga's education sector. Pupils at several schools in the province allegedly paid teachers up to 1,500 rand to join WhatsApp groups where answers were posted by teachers. According to a Sunday Times report, at least 370 grade 12 learners from 3 schools were involved in the scandal. The department is investigating after a teacher seemingly mistakenly posted an answer to a WhatsApp group for teachers. The National Association of School Governing Bodies wants strict no cell phone policies implemented at schools. Let's find out more from the National Association for School Governing Bodies, the National Secretary, Matikanye. So thank you so much for your time this evening. Can you tell us firstly how this scandal came to light?
Good evening, Enli, and all your listeners. This scandal, whether true or not true, we as National Association of School Governing Bodies want to condemn with the strictest terms that this type of activity, it is not allowed in the system of education, and it is a criminality, and we call upon the authorities to ensure that this matter is investigated, because at this point in time it was being posted the papers. We don't know whether it is true. However, we want to remain as an allegation. However, we feel that now all authorities must investigate, and if the culprits are found to have been done this very same thing, we are calling for the authorities to ensure that now they are taken to books. But however, then another thing is that now National Association of School Governing Body has been championing for years, I think, that cell phones should not be taken to schools. Cell phones should be banned from being taken to schools. And we, if you remember, Anli, that we instructed the school governing body to formulate policies that will ensure that no cell phone is being taken to school. And if there is a claim that cell phones are used for researching, we have a clear direction that research must be made under the supervision of their parents at home, because these cell phones carry really unwarranted, very serious material that will distract these children from learning. And then we still feel that we have not done enough. Hence, then today there is this claim that cell phones has been used illegally in the examination of our children, and the adult also being involved in doing all these criminal activities. So we want to really once again call upon the authorities to ensure that this thing, it comes to a light, then those involved must be taken to book. However, don't use all children, but they must just select those who involved in this criminality, so that now not all children must be punished.
Mr. Matikanye, surely the issue is a lot bigger than just cell phones. Reports say up to as many as 1,180 plus pupils across 6 provinces, as well as teachers and invigilators, are believed to be involved. So apart from the WhatsApp groups where teachers allegedly gave students answers to questions during the papers, they are also alleged to have passed notes with answers to learners on their way to and back from the bathroom. So clearly this is an organized scandal. It even had a name, Road to Varsity. So this is not something that happened on the spur of the moment. It's not opportunistic learners who happen to have cell phones and who cheated. This is a group of people across a very vast, 6 provinces who have managed to scam the system. Is there something wrong then with our system and with our teachers if this is allowed to happen?
Really, there is nothing wrong with the system. There's really nothing wrong with the system because all this time we have been saying that our system is maturing. It's just those few silly adults and coercing our children, because if it is true, it has been said that now also money have been paid. Now you can see that now is an organized syndicate to destroy our children, you see, and hence we are saying it is still remains an allegations, but we feel that the authority must be as quickly as possible investigate this matter so that we know the truth and why were they doing this thing and demanding money from our children.
Now,
and
Elijah
you can see
Mhlanga,
that
I do apologize. Elijah Mhlanga, Department of Basic Education spokesperson, has said that DG Mweli has approved the creation of a task team. And we know that the Department of Education has in the past, when we've seen these cheating incidents, worked with the Hawks. Do you have any more detail? Do you know what the mandate is and who will be running this task team? Have they shared that with your organization?
Up to now, they haven't yet shared any information with us. We just get it from the media, from the social platforms and all those things. They haven't yet officially talked to us as an organization. So we are responding based on those allegations that are brought to light by the media itself.
We know that Matric results are due to be released on the 20th of January. That's just over a month away. Are you worried that those exam results are going to be affected or perhaps even delayed by this scandal while that task team is investigating?
We really, let alone the release of the result. If this is true, then we are really worried that they put our children in a bad light, in the sense that now it's going to once again to challenge Moalusi, because Moalusi has to quality assure the results. Now, we really don't know how this matter is going to, if it is true, how this matter is going to be. However, but according to the papers, according to the social media, it appears that it is not every child that did that. There are few in this, although what the paper says, what the social media says is that a chunk of this scandal occurred in Mpumalanga. Now, it shows that now it's a serious matter, although we feel that it may not be all the children. However, we are worried, Andy, we are really worried that it is the credibility of the system and the education system for our children. It could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 4, but it will have a dent on those children. And also, we want to call upon the authorities to make sure that this thing must be cleared quickly, so that by the time the 20th comes, then we know the truth, and our children must get the results.
Now, Action SA has called for the Minister of Basic Education to act urgently and to suspend the teachers involved and to nullify the results of those learners involved. Obviously, that will require actionable intelligence from whoever is conducting the investigation to make sure that the right people are taken to task. What do you think should happen, especially to the teachers who, as you say, have coerced students into this scandal for the sake of money?
If they are found on the wrong side of the law, I mean, the law must take its course. There's nothing we can do. We know that plagiarism in this country is criminality. So, and if they are found to have done that, I mean, there's no question about it, then the law must take its course. That's all. That's all what we are saying. Then they will not stand in the platform and say, no. They were helping these children. All of it. It's criminality. Then criminality in this country is has to be charged. I mean, exposed and people involved account.
There has also been a suggestion that learners found guilty should be barred from writing or receiving credible matric results for 2 to 3 years. Do you think that would serve as enough of a stern warning to others that this is a serious crime and not to take part in this kind of criminal activity?
I believe the Department of Basic Education has a code of conduct for the candidates to write exam. So probably if any candidate is involved in criminal activity, they will look into their code of conduct and appropriate step will be taken in line with the code of conduct. Because I believe cheating it's a serious offense, probably, and probably in the code of conduct, it could be Apex 1. And so then they know exactly, according to the code of conduct, if there is cheating, they know exactly what, without really dictating what is to be said, what is. So they will be dictated to by their code of conduct of how do we behave in writing the examination.
You have called for those conducting the investigation to complete it urgently so that it will not affect the releasing of the matric results in January. Will you, as the National Association of School Governing Bodies, be engaging with the Department of Basic Education to make sure, or to try and speed along and to try and assist that investigation?
As we always, we really also expecting them to quickly call upon us to come and sit down and discuss this matter. So, and if they don't really, then we'll call them and to speed up this matter so that our result, the result of our children must not really be affected, except those who are found to have conducted themselves illegally. So the rest of the children, we still feel that now the result must be as the plan released on the 20th. But also, Anli, we really want to quickly go back to the question of the policies that are formulated by the school governing body in schools. And one of the policies being that now the cell phones is a menace in the education of our children. You know that cell phones have these undesirable softwares, and we have been always calling upon everybody, particularly the school government, that formulate policies that will bar our children from bringing this. You know, if they keep on bringing the cell phone, forget about the quality education, particularly for the poorest of the poor, for the township, for the rural, the deep rural, the working class. I mean, and we are serious about this, Enli, that the poorest of the poor, they don't have these sophisticated cell phones. And the sophisticated cell phones will be from the rich families. Now, what happens if people argue and say, no, these cell phones are used for research? And what about those poor children? Are they going to buy them cell phones as well? And because what we agreed, I think in Gauteng, is the question of the tablets. And we said to the people who are organizing the tablets, control the softwares. And I believe if anybody compared the cell phone with the tablets, it is wrong, because the tablets is part and parcel of the tool of trade in the school. It's like a textbook. There will be a policy when are these tablets taken away from these children? So if really the policy of cell phones worked, we would not be having a problem, because question of the tablets they would have taken them away a week or 2 days before they start writing the exams and put them in the safer places in the schools. So there is no comparison. Cell phones belongs to it's a private property of our children. And these private properties, the unfortunate is that the poorest of the poor will not be able to carry these sophisticated phones. They will carry these phones which do not have anything to do with that. Now, in that fashion, then we are promoting inequality.
Mr. Matric, if you'll allow me to play devil's advocate for just 1 second. Pupils in Matric are approaching the age of 18, when they will be sent into the world either to do further studies, but for the most part they are bordering adulthood. Surely they should have been equipped both by their parents at home and by their teachers at school with the moral intuition to discern good from bad, to such a point that even if they have a cell phone and have access to the internet with which they could cheat, that they have the discernment to make the right choice. Because merely taking a cell phone away from someone who's almost 18 and practically an adult, that doesn't solve the problem. Because once they are out of school where they have free access to cell phones, how are they going to conduct themselves if they cannot make those moral choices?
And I'm happy that you are a South African. You know the inequalities in South Africa. Now, when you talk of the grade 12 approaching the university, and yes, of course, that's why in this country we are still talking about the different types of schools, whereas the law sees them as public schools, all public schools. But you still have the public schools that are in township, the public schools that are in deep rural, as compared to the public school which are more independent than the public schools that we know in township and the other areas that I've made mention of. Of course, and you are correct to say at this stage, the question of attitude, the question of the values, these children must just be equal to understand the value of education, the value of respect, the value of respecting education, respecting all these things. But you know, you are a South African. This thing is different. It's different. I mean, in those schools that I've mentioned, I must tell you, you know what is really happening. Now, I don't know whether should we blame the parents that the parents are not talking to these children, or is it a question of inequality? Then, and where do we start? Because the truth of the matter is that National Association of School Government Body has a program of ensuring that they talk to the parents to parent their children, also to be involved in the education of their children. And purposefully, this program is really to talk to the parents so that they prepare their children, because the question of discipline starts from home to school. But you know, in this country, there are children who are killing teachers. They are teachers. Now, I don't know whether you will. So that's why we are saying, by doing this, we are trying to
level the playing field,
equality among the children. Yes,
I understand. Unfortunately, that is all we have time for, but we do appreciate you taking part in the discussion this evening. That was National Association of School Governing Bodies National Secretary Matekane talking to us about a very serious scandal that's rocked the education sector. More than 370 and possibly as many as 1,100 learners across the country allegedly have taken part in cheating in the Matric exam papers.